Hello, this is R for Econometrics. This video is going to show you how to install R and R Studio for the first time. I do not have these programs on my computer, so I wanted to record how I'm going to install them here. First thing we want to understand is the main program that we use for working with data for econometrics is going to be the actual R program. But the interface for R program by itself is not the greatest. It is not user friendly. So we're going to work within R Studio, which is the Integrated Development Environment, or IDE. But what all it does is it still is going to use the R software, our programming language, but it is going to make it much easier with a better user-friendly interface. So that's what we're going to look at. Let's go through. So we are going to follow two steps. First, we're going to install our program from the CRAN website. It's the Comprehensive R Archive Network. That's where we get the R program from. And then once we install this, we're going to go to R Studio, install R Studio, and as you do that, it will recognize the R programming that's installed on the computer, and it'll automatically run or have a place for you to use the R program. So let's look at the first one. I'm going to go to this website, and as you click on that, it's cran.rproject.org. You can explore all these tabs on the left side. If you go here, I'm not going to go here, but if you want to read more about different views, how to search, if you go to our homepage, it's going to show you different options that are available to learn programming. Here is a dedicated journal for our programming. It's the R journal, our sources, and there are packages. So I would encourage you to go through these tabs. The purpose of the video is not to go through this. I wanted to install for the first time, so I'm going to go directly to the downloading and installing part. So I'm going to go to download R for Windows. I'm going here, and then all I need is a base R, and I am going to click install R for the first time. And let's see, here is the R 4.0.3 for Windows, and that's what I'm going to click, and it's downloading. I'm going to wait until it gets downloaded. Okay, the download is complete. Let's click on this download file here, and then it should open this window here. Dialog box, do you want to allow? And I'm going to click yes, and it's going to show me select setup language. It's going to be English, and I have next. I'm just going to do the default settings here. I'm not going to change anything. Select the components you want to install. I think I am just going to select all of them. Please specify yes or no. If I want to customize the startup options, I'm just going to use the defaults, and I'm going to just keep going with the default settings here. Next, and then create a desktop shortcut. I don't need that. I should be able to use that. So here, let's take the time or save the time. And here it is. Let's finish this up, and we should be able to access our programming. Okay, I have pinned it to the taskbar. So if I open this up, here is R. Again, there are this is the traditional R programming. You can write your commands here. Basically, if you do 2 plus 2, it gives you 4, and you know R is working. But again, as I said, this is not the most user-friendly version. We're going to be using RStudio. So let's see that option. And you would go to this website, rstudio.com. If you click on this, it should open a new page. And here's the rstudio.com website. And there are so many options. So I invite you to browse through and then read more about RStudio. That would be some different video, but our goal here is to get this RStudio, the Premier IDE for R. We want to download it and work with it. So I'm going to go here, and if you scroll down, I am going to, well, there are 2 versions. It's not the server. You could work with server, but I want to run this RStudio in my desktop. And here are my options. It's the open source edition. That's the free one. I don't want to pay $995 per year, so I choose this option. And let's see, here is the free version. I download it, and then it says download RStudio for Windows. Okay, it's downloading, and it is downloaded. So let's see, opening, and then again I see the dialog box. Yes, I need to check next. I'm just gonna do the default settings, and it should install. Okay, let's finish this up, and we should be able to see RStudio. And I have pinned it to the taskbar, so let me open this up. And here is RStudio. So you can choose to report crash reports. I'm just gonna do yes. Okay, so here is RStudio. Okay, this is what I see right now, but I want to, this may not be clear and viewing experience. It may be too small. So what I'm going to do is go to Tools. I am going to go to probably Global Options, and then here are all the options. I am just going to focus one thing at a time right now. You can play around with these options, but here is appearance, and the editor font size right now it is at 10. So I'm gonna make it probably at 14. So hopefully it will work. Okay. You need to restart RStudio in order for the changes to take effect. Do you want to do this now? Yes. Okay. Or instead of the font here, if I go back to, let's say, if I don't want too big of fonts, then what I could do is just, if I wanted to increase the viewing size or overall screen, then I can zoom in, and then this becomes clear. So this should be big enough now. But so this is the main page. So what I am doing here is, so there are all these options you can play around. Here are the file, opening file, editing. Here are the codes. So viewing experience from here. Plots you can access from here. You can play around with the session, new session, restarting, terminating, all of that. Debugging, profile tools I showed you, and here are all the help files. So R help, search R, about RStudio. There is accessibility, RStudio docs. And maybe most important thing could be cheat sheets. If you want to have some, most useful cheat sheets for RStudio and our Markdown. These are some things that we will be talking about later, so in other videos. So this is probably the most useful help file that you're going to get here, and you can go to RStudio docs and probably so you can search for our help. But these are some things that you can get help from here too. Before I go here, what I wanted to show here right now, I see that I have the left half of my screen is just the console, and the right half is divided into two upper quadrant, or upper chamber and lower chamber here. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to, if you see all these options here, so each area, there are multiple tabs, and you can change the viewing experience. And what I'm going to do is click on this one. If I do that, now it is divided into 4 quadrants in a way. I can pull this around and make them equal, but it doesn't matter. But what I had done before doing this, what I had up here, if I just did this without the top screen, so this is where you would write your codes. This is where you write your codes, and here's the console. If this is something, and save your work, or save your codes for future use. What do we call the scripts? And you see that I'm typing this hash pound signs, number signs. This means we're writing a comment in R, but we'll get to these in later videos. But this is where what I had shown earlier in the R programming. So RStudio, this part right here, the lower bottom half of my screen, this is exactly the R programming that I had done earlier. So it shows that our program is right here. Then top left is the environment. You can see the history, you can see other options here. There are tutorials, so you can play around with those. If you click here, you can choose between R and Python. So if you want to do something in Python right from RStudio, you have that option, but we're just going to use R. Here are the global environment, and here are all the files. You can explore your files. You can use this as, think of this as same as Windows Explorer. Here, if you plot anything, then they will appear here. You can install packages from here. You can get help about R and RStudio from here. And here are viewer other options. One other thing that I wanted to show right here is installing packages. So I'm going to, because R, it's something that there are tons of things that you could be doing, and you may not, you will never use everything that is available here, because each user, this is user written program, and people are writing codes for what they need, and we are using some of those for use in econometrics. So what I'm going to do is a very basic thing. This is going to be an example for installing packages, and when I talk about the packages, there could be many different useful packages that you can think of. So I showed this earlier. Here are the most important packages that you could be thinking of. So for econometrics, we will be using data files from Introductory Econometrics textbook by Jeffrey Wooldridge. And in order to get those, Oldridge is the package. There is Applied Econometrics with R by Kleiber and Zelius, and there is a package called AER, companion to Applied Regression by Fox and Weisberg. It's CAR, Simple Linear Regression. What we will start the basic regression with LM. It's a function, it's not a package, so it is built in with R, so we don't really need to import it, we don't need to install it, but the rest of the packages that I have put in codes, we need to install them before we use them. So linear models for panel data is PLM, dynamic linear regression for time series, dynamic LM or DYNLM, regular and irregular time series. There is a zoo package, testing linear regression models. LM test is the package that has Brush-Pagan test and DW test, that test for heteroscedasticity and then correlation, autocorrelation in time series data. And if we have to if we find heteroscedasticity and autocorrelation, we'll be talking about that later in the semester. There is robust standard errors for heteroscedastic errors, and sandwich package takes care of that. And there is ORCID package that takes care that runs the Cochrane ORCID estimator for serially correlated errors. So these are some of the packages. So let me install some of them, and I'm going to show probably a few different ways. So right here, and the very first one I want to do is install dot packages. So what I did is I just typed insta, and I was going to, my goal was to type install.packages because that's the command we need to use. So as soon as I see that option, I'm going to hit tab on my keyboard and see what it does. So it is already it has already given me the proper script syntax, and you can it even shows you that option here. So what you need to put the packages in codes. So I'm going to do, or maybe if I don't do that, so it's going to probably suggest, okay, so I started typing Oldridge, and here is my option, and if I select that, or I could have hit tab on my keyboard, and it's doing that. So I'm going to so this is the command to install Oldridge, and what I'm going to do is, once I have this line of code, I can run this, or if you see the option right there, run the current line, or you can hit Control Enter on your keyboard. As you keep working with this, you may find that to be easier. So I'm going to hit run, and then it is showing at the bottom here. It's working, it's downloading and installing now. Package Oldridge successfully unpacked, and so it's ready to use. We're not going to use on the right now, but it will be another video on that. So I wanted to show, so this is one way of installing package. Another way, let's say if I wanted to install AER package, applied econometrics in R. So let me go to tools and then install packages here. So if I do, then I'm installing it from CRAN. I can do AER. Okay, here is a package, and it says if I want to do multiple packages, separate multiple with space or comma, I don't need anything. So I just want to get a companion to applied regression. So I want to install these two packages, and you want to check install dependencies, because some of these user written programs, they may have links to other packages, and you want to make sure you're installing those two. So I'm going to install those two here. Okay, so it shows it's working. It shows that it's working right here, as long, and you will see that the progress bar, and it should, as soon as it is done, you should see something message that says it's installed. So let's see how it works. Okay, the two packages had many other packages that they come with, and so there is a long list of packages, Haven, and there are some of those. Zoo is already in here. AER. So anyway, AER and CAR, all of those are installed. Now, one other thing that I wanted to show you is, or you can do one other way that you can do the same thing, is go to packages here and install, and it gives you the same option that you would have gotten from up here. So let me install a few of them. Let's see if I do LM test, that's one. I may need, so if I want to fix the or use the robust standard errors, it's going to be sandwich. So, and then if I want to do the ORCUT estimation, I would need this. So basically, LM test does the Brush-Pagan test, BP test, and the DW test, and then in order to fix them, we're using Sandwich and ORCUT. So let me install them. And that was quick, so everything is installed. Now, so this is the basics about. Once you have this, you are good to work in RStudio, and other videos will show you how to do further work that is related to data analysis, econometric analysis in R. This is all for this video.